Welcome! Today a little bit of a different video where I'm gonna talk about recent game pickups. I'm gonna try to go from about newest to oldest console. So first up, I bought Fire Emblem Warriors. I just got a good price on it and I thought, might as well pick it up. I want to try out a Warriors game for a long time. And I kinda wanted to get back into the Fire Emblem series. I pretty much stopped playing them after the 3DS games, so I'm looking to get back into them. So I thought, a good way to combine the two. Then we have a 3DS game, Professor Layton and the Azran Legacy. Now this is one of these games that is kinda rare and expensive, but over recent time I actually seen it drop in price significantly. I got this for less than 40 bucks, which if you've seen the prices before, it's actually quite good. It's of course the German version, but for me that's not a big problem. So I'm actually quite happy because it is actually complete in box, full on with a new code that has never been used. All the ads, the manual, whatnot. And the game itself also looks pretty clean and pretty, unused. It doesn't even have really any scratches on the back, which I've seen on some 3DS games. So yeah, all in all, this has been probably my best pickup in this entire stack of games that I have. Then I'm already gonna go another console back, which is the Nintendo DS. One game that I used to have as a child is Super Mario Bros. Mario and Luigi, Partners in Time. That game is really fucking expensive, and I probably won't buy it for now unless I see the price drop significantly. But I believe in a sort of proxy existence in my collection. I have a few games that are the Japanese version, but I do have a ROM of it for the English version. I don't mind doing it this way, but I like to have at least some form of proxy in my collection, which is official and not a bootleg. So that's why I picked this up. I played the GBA part, I have all the other parts mostly, and I just want to finally play this one again, because I don't think I ever beat it as a child, so I'm looking forward to playing this one as well. Then we are getting to the PS3, and first of all, let me do it like this. I got God of War 1 and 2, 3, and Ascension in one bundle for, I think I paid roughly 30 bucks for all of them together, which I think is a good deal. And the reason was because I just recently played the first PSP game, not the second one, because Ghost of Sparta I think it's called, because that one's also expensive. So I was like, I kinda always wanted to play the God of War series, but I never did. Now, when I mean the God of War series, I mean the God of War series with the God of War in Greek. Not the new ones, they don't really interest me. I kinda like this era of God of War more. I've seen a bunch of videos about the story and whatnot, so I'm just trying to fill up my collection with all of the games. And of this, I think I'm only missing the other PSP one now, which is pretty great, so also a very good purchase. Another series I'm also trying to complete is Ratchet & Clank. Now, I haven't made much progress in this. I have the PS3 version of the trilogy. I also have it on PS Vita, but that doesn't matter too much. I also have the PS4 game, but I don't have any of the other ones. And I never played any of the games that are outside of the PS2 era anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to playing through the PS3 era of the games. I don't know if they are even good at all or whatnot, but I'm slowly trying to buy them. I mean, you can see that this one is in a very rough shape, but I think I paid like $2 for this. All of these games I got quite a good price, I would say. The last PS3 game, also a series I kind of want to get back into. I know it's, there probably aren't going to be any new games of it, but it is Little Big Planet. I only ever played the PSP game myself, that I owned myself, and I think I played on somebody's console the first game for the PS3. And Little Big Planet, especially the level editor, was something of the most amazing things ever. I loved playing other people's levels on the PSP, which I think the servers for this are probably shut down. I just hope I can play these games. But I always want to just, get back into them, and, why not just pick up when it's already cheap. I picked this up together with Ratchet & Clank. You can kinda probably see the dirt on it, which is very similar. So that's why I picked the second one up, even though I don't have the first one. But yeah, then I'm moving on to the Nintendo Wii. And these games are kinda on the stranger side, I would say. Not like the popular Wii games most people would talk about. First up is Trauma Center's Second Opinion. I'm gonna be honest, I watched like a Let's Play of this in 2014, 13, something like that. And I just remembered that when I saw the cover. I was like, oh yeah, let's buy it. You know, why not? I know this is like a port of the DS game, the second DS game or whatnot, or something like that. So I have to check it out and, you know, research a little bit if this is the second game or not. I know there are two, but that's about all of it. Then I bought this. Lord of the Rings, The Adventure of Aragorn. When it comes to Lord of the Rings games, they can range from absolute shit to absolute gems. I mean, the Third Age for PS2 and GameCube is amazing. It's like a Final Fantasy X like JRPG. For the same game for Game Boy Advance, it's like a Fire Emblem kind of game. You have Battle for Middle-earth, which is an RTS game, which is also fantastic, that I also own already. And I saw this and I was like, you know what? It looks kind of fun. Like it's almost like a little action RPG, not like the original like PS2 action RPGs. So yeah, I just thought, you know, might as well check it out. It either goes into the shit pile or in the, you know, gem pile, usually. And the last one of the Wii games is Resident Evil: The Darkside Chronicles. I also watched a Let's Play of this game way back in the day, and that's why I remember this even existing. But this is a very interesting game. It's basically an on-rails shooter, where you kind of go through individual levels of the Resident Evil games that came up to this point. So I think 0, Veronica, 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5. I'm not entirely sure about 5, but I think you go up to 4, if I'm not completely mistaken. Because I remember vaguely there being the fight against the blonde guy with the sunglasses from 4 being included in this. But I could misremember something. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this, because I don't hate on-rail shooter, actually. I think it's one of these genres that's just kind of vanished and should maybe make a comeback. Then we get to the biggest stack, and this one is kind of like going back to the whole proxy thing. But first, I have two actual games that I could play in my PS2 right now. One is Extermination. I saw this and I thought it looks cool, right? And then I did a little bit of research on it, and apparently it's a pretty good, like, hidden gem survival horror game. And that's why I was like, you know, I was convinced before because it looks interesting. Now I'm really convinced to absolutely wanting to try it out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. The other one is this one, Oni. I've seen this over and over and over again. Always like being interested in it. I was like, I want to buy it, but at the same time, is it gonna be good? You know, I never knew, right, if I wanted to buy it. So this time I saw it for cheap together with Extermination. So I was like, you know, let's just do it. Let's just buy it. I have no idea what exactly it is. It looks like an action RPG, kind of third-person shooter-ish game. So yeah, I will be playing this at some point in the next year or two, I guess. It's a bit dirty, so I will do a bit of cleanup as well. Maybe swap out the case. I think I have a few extra ones. And it's made by Rockstar, funny enough. Then we have the proxy PS2 games. I wanted one specific game, which is, let me actually kind of grab this one first. I can find it in this bundle of games. Of course, some of them are upside down, which helps a lot. Here it is. Drakengard 2, or Dragon Dragoon 2 in Japan. I played the first one, and my god, what an experience. Horrible gameplay. It's really repetitive and boring, and for that part I can't really recommend it. But the story of Drakengard 1 is fantastic. I mean, it comes from the mind of Yoko Taro. That guy has something up in his brain. So I was like, you know, I know 2 is not made by Yoko Taro, but at the same time, I kind of want to play it just to see what it's about. So I looked at the prices, and it's pretty expensive for a game that is essentially the part nobody wants to play, really, because it's the worst in the series. That's not by Yoko Taro and whatnot. So I was like, you know, let me see how much it costs in Japan, and yeah, I bought like an entire bundle of games for like $10. This is included. That's why I bought it. And yeah, that's why I have now Drakengard 2 as a proxy game. I usually play emulator these days for PS2 anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. Then I have this game. Can't really talk much about it. It's like a visual novel. I don't play many visual novels. I played Song of Saya to the first ending, and that was about it. I might want to play Higurashi. Then we have this one. I've seen this one before, with like the blue characters and whatnot. It's also a visual novel. But other than that, I can't really say much about it. I don't even know the exact name. I can't read Japanese, right? And it's the second game in the series, so even less interesting to me. These I might just, give for free or something to somebody. Then we have Res. I already have Res on the Dreamcast, so it's like interesting to own it. I think it's pretty much the same game as the Dreamcast one. So for that fact, I probably will also sell this one, or maybe keep it, I don't know. Like, you can't really sell these here because they are Japanese copies that nobody will play, but... So, Res, interesting game. I can recommend it. It's a trip. Let me pull it like that. It's a trip. And then we have just a few JRPGs in here. Arc the Lad. I've heard a bit about this, but I've never really seen it. Then we have this. I have no idea what it's called, actually, but it looks very interesting. It looks very interesting. I'm gonna put up the name if I've seen it, and you can check it out. So I'm gonna figure this one out. Then we also have here Rogue Galaxy. Another JRPG. It looks interesting, I like JRPGs. So I'm gonna check them out and see if I want to play them or whatnot. I've heard about Rogue Galaxy before, but I can't really say too much about it here. Same with Tales of Rebirth. I've played Tales of Xillia and Tales of Arise, and that's about my entire experience with the Tales series. I liked Arise, I liked Xillia. I have a few of the other games that I want to play, but that's about it. So yeah, Tales of Rebirth. I want to check it out. It looks pretty alright for what it is. It's kind of like a 2D game, which is interesting because there aren't that many 2D games on the PS2. I think that was much more common in Japan than in the West here. And the last one is this. Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII. One of these really weird games that existed for the PlayStation. It's a Final Fantasy VII game. It's like a third-person shooter or something. It's a pretty cool box. I think the one we have here in the West is kind of worse. So yeah, I now own, I think, most Final Fantasy VII games in some form. I think I have Crisis Core in Italian for some reason. Now I have this in Japanese. I will maybe check it out, but I've never understood the hype for like the extended Final Fantasy VII universe as much as I did for the main game itself. Then finally we get to the last group, which is like the Game Boy group. First up we have Game Boy Advance. I've got 2 bootlegs for Kim Possible games, Kim Possible 2 and 3, which, I got them for cheap, which is why I bought them. And I kind of like bootlegs. I have like an entire bag filled with them, but I will never actually play them because who cares about bootlegs? Then I bought this game because it was sold as broken, and I was like, if it's broken, I want to see if I can repair it. It wasn't broken. It was just the person didn't have a Game Boy to test it. It's like one of these horse games. These are just really prolific. Like, all platforms have these horse games that are like carbon copies of each other almost. I don't even know what's the point of them. Like, do they still sell? Like, you could probably literally just buy any of them and you get the same experience. So I've no idea what the market for these is. I mean, I know, a little gross, but in this day and age, I think you can probably get like a mobile game that does the same thing for free. Last one was this. It's called Hardcore Pool. I've tried to play it. I've always messed up right at the end. It's kind of hard to control and not very easy to predict how the ball will move, because sometimes the ball will just hit another one and do a full stop instead of just rolling a little bit further. It behaves a bit weirdly, but it's fun. I like pool, especially like, there was like this phone game I used to play. I don't even know what it was called, but yeah, it's a cool one. There exists another pool game for Game Boy Advance, which is like a 3D game, and I'm trying to find that one for a good price as well, but I haven't had much luck so far. Then the last is just Game Boy games. The first one is this. Kirby's Dream Land. This one was sold as broken. And it didn't start at all. So I opened it up and I just replaced the battery, which was empty, and now it works. So I didn't even know that that was a thing, that an empty battery can make a game not work. So good to know, and I will sell this one because I already have it. But, you know, it was a nice little challenge. Then the last two I have in these little cases, which I will probably make a separate video about. You know, the good old cassette cases. There are plenty of videos about those. One of them is the Delian Opus, which maybe you can see the screenshots. It's like you have a box, right? It's like you have a little box and you have to put some shapes in there and fill it out. And the boxes get bigger and you get like more shapes and whatnot. It's quite interesting, but also not too hard. But one thing you might be able to see is how the plastic has actually kind of like bubbled up. And this can happen when you store them like in, I think in softened plastic bins, like soft plastic bins, because the softeners in plastic actually gas off from the plastic in heat and kind of settle in this one, and it starts to kind of deteriorate it. It sucks. It is really noticeable in the correct light. Like the label is actually full of bubbles, which is the plastic beneath it. It's actually kind of disgusting. Maybe you can see if I... Yeah, you can really see how messed up the label is. I just hope it kind of stays at like this from now on and doesn't get any worse. But yeah, cool little game. And the last one is Sneaky Snakes. This game is interesting. It's basically like a... Almost like a... It's like a platformer with small levels. And you have to like eat enemies to get bigger, like in Snake. And once you're big enough, or heavy enough, the door opens. And this one also has the bubbling a little bit. You can see it maybe in the Game Boy font on top, like here on top. But it's not as extreme as with the other one. You can also see it down here, maybe. Like I bought these two games from the same person. But the label itself is pretty alright. I see a little bit of bumpiness, but nothing unusual really. It's a bit sad that this exists, but... You know, it just happens with these old games. I'm glad it's not too extreme. And that is the last game. I played a little bit and it's pretty fun. So yeah, that was the entire pickup for August. I really spent some money there. I mean, some I bought a little bit early and some I bought a little bit later. August and July, I meant. So yeah, what kind of games did you pick up? Is there any of these games that you would recommend me to play like right now as the first game to check out? Or do you think some of these are just bad and I made bad choices? Just, you know, let me know in the comments. And I hope you like this type of video of me just talking about these pickups. And I will see you in the next video. Ciao.